Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Lone Duck's Gun Dog Chronicles, baby. Cheers to you. All day IPA today. Cheers, Kevin. You got the old Busch Latte, camo can. We're back in our time of year.
Don't like the new camo look this year. So thumbs down on my end. Still bottom.
Thumbs down on my end too.
But it got like, look at this.
They should go in and get like bottom lands. That'd be sick.
That would be awesome. Like, it's not hard to come up with good ideas for these things.
Yeah. But
anyways,
to each his own, and a nice crisp cold Busch Latte at the end of the day during podcast night is never a bad choice. I chose the all-day IPA tonight, and this koozie says, life is short, hunt hard, Little Meadows, PA. Give them a shout-out, Whitetails Bar and Grill. Never been there, but cool.
You know what we should do? This would be a cool little podcast segment, just featuring all the random koozies that you have. Yeah. Tonight's koozie. Yeah. Maybe we can get sponsor koozies. Maybe we can do all sorts of fun things. But you do have a good collection.
I do have a great collection. I love a good koozie. That's a great idea, Kev. All right, let's get into the show. We're going to do a tiny bit of good housekeeping. The first one is a very exciting announcement that I have been working on for many, many, many years, from an idea before anybody came up with it, pre-Cornerstone, pre-Freddie King, pre-everybody. When I was just a t-shirt and hat guy, I wanted to develop an online training course that could teach you how to go from zero to duck dog. And we did it. It is a guide, basically a guide to the YouTube channel, plus never before seen videos that don't hit YouTube or our Patreon. And so, where YouTube, they come out as we put them out, and how we film them, they're kind of all scattered. So it doesn't give you a step-by-step process. This will organize all those videos we've already produced in a timeline. It'll give you timelines for you and your dog, age timelines, skill timelines of when to move on. There's going to be added material to it to help you go down the line training your duck dog, from picking a puppy to bringing it home in its first 8 weeks to your first duck season, roughly 10, 12 months old. And then pretty shortly after that, we'll have the advanced course, which will be taking you from pile work into T-pattern, swim by, pattern blinds, land blinds, water blinds, everything. So Zero to Duck Dog is coming out. Our goal is to have it out in November. Like, think Black Friday timeframe is our goal. We're going to have a soft release to our Patreon members. And so that's another added benefit of being a Patreon member, and discounts over on our patreon.com/Lone Duck Outfitters. But this has been like a life's work. This is why we built the YouTube channel, was to help more people. And so this course is going to give you that step-by-step process to accomplish your goals. So if you would like to have that, stay tuned for more. And secondly, while we've been finishing that, we revamped our website and the e-commerce platform. So many of you may or may not have known, but Ethan and Kat from Standing Stone and Standing Stone Supply help us with our online store. It allowed us to add more products that we wouldn't have been able to do back in the day when we started. New gear, like Lone Duck gear, as well as things like Momar stands, and like the Final Stand. That's the one I hunt with. The Blue Ribbon whistle. That's what I blow in the field every single day. That came out wrong. But the whistle is being used every single day, and that's what I use. And you can get them on our website. And so the old one, it needed to be reworked. And so both Ethan, Kevin, Kat, and some other folks that help us with this stuff, we really simplified it, made it easy to find products, and just if
Ethan and Silas are the real heroes of that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so duck season upon us. If you need, like I even been thinking about like that DT hand launcher. We were talking with a client today. He picked his dog up, and he's a one-man band, lives just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So like gunfire stuff, he's got to go and find places he can do it. And that handheld shooter is going to come in handy when he goes out and is able to train in places he can shoot. And it's going to excel his training. So anything like that, you need medical kits. I mean, hunting season's here. Keep a med kit in your truck, a small mini med kit in your blind bag. Like these are must haves. And so the website is revamped, and I'd encourage you guys to check it out and, even give us your feedback. If you think it sucks, email Kevin.
Don't tell me. Yeah. Let me know.
I don't want to hear it.
Speaking of a couple of those things, Steady Tab. We have an 8-inch Made in America Steady Tab.
Yep.
If you are hunting by yourself, or you are doing things and you're trying to work through all that stuff, like these are the little things that you don't think about until you're sitting in the blind being like,
ooh, would be handy. Would be handy. Yeah. So head over there, check it out. We appreciate it. Any support over on that website is supporting this show. And instead of going to like a Gun Dog Supply or Lion Country where you don't know those guys, you know us. Check out our store. And if you have any questions on some of the gear, I mean, pretty much everything on that website is things that I use and have put to the test and trust. So if it's not, then it wouldn't be on there. So, all right, tonight.
And you get a koozie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Full circle.
Get a koozie. Full circle,
baby.
The koozies.
You also get a Lone D koozie. So, I mean, it doesn't stink.
Buy $100 dog stand, you get a free koozie, son.
What a deal.
Yeah, I literally had a dude, I trained his dog for a long time. And so it was like a substantial invoice. And he's like, and I got a koozie. Sweet. Yeah. And a trained duck dog, but whatever.
Yeah.
Overlook that part, right? Anywho, tonight's episode, we're going to do some Q&As. We put it out there to the Patreon members as well as Instagrammers. And so we're going to rattle off some just quickies, great questions that came through, and, help me help you. You help me help everybody. Let it rip.
98 Warrior is asking, doozy of a name.
Yeah.
What would you prioritize with an 11-week-old pup?
It's a good question. 98 Warrior. I wonder if he was born in 1998. What do you think?
Right in. I don't know.
Born in 1998. Maybe. Yeah. I guess that's not as bad when I talk to my... It's not that bad. I talk to my employees and they weren't like... They were born as I was going into out of college. I was getting out of college. I had lived a life and done some things, and they were being born.
Yeah. We're not young.
No.
You're wicked old, but we're not young.
Yeah, I know.
They probably hadn't even been 9/11.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild to think about?
Yeah, nope. They weren't alive.
Anyways.
Back to the question.
Speaking of a young pup.
Yep. The big thing is letting them be a puppy. Crate training is a must. They need to be quiet, and the crate is a safe place. They need to be crated more than they are out. When you are home and can give undivided attention to the puppy, then the puppy can be out. When you can't give undivided attention to the puppy needs to be in a crate. Then when it is time to go and do some quick training sessions, the puppy is well rested, piss and vinegar, and ready to learn and grow. I'm going to do a tiny bit of treat training on here. It's out in the yard following me around and it's already coming to me. I'm going to work on here and pay it. I'm going to work on sit and pay it. I'm going to start asking it to be a baby, tiny, tiny bit steady for its food bowl. I like to feed them in the crate. Places dogs sleep and eat are places they don't want to go potty. So it's going to help keep the crate clean. But you can ask them to be a tiny bit steady. Sit, pay them with the food. Sit, 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 sit. Bowls coming down towards the ground. Sit, pay them with the food. And then as they continue to grow and develop, you can make them sit and actually be steady for their food. A little bit of retrieve drive. I'm not overdoing it at all. I might do it a couple days a week where I toss it down the hallway in the house. Again, shout out to Zero to Duck Dog. We've got some videos on that. that will be coming out. This would be a prime person to jump in on that when the time comes. Puppy will be probably 4.5, 5 months old. You'll be starting to get into the real deal stuff for that. But at this stage, people, places, and things, socialization, build a bold, confident, happy puppy that loves to learn and be with you doing cool things. That to me is almost more important than worrying about retrieve drive. If you bought a nice puppy, a well-bred puppy, it's going to have retrieve drive. So getting it bold and confident in all these different scenarios is going to pay dividends when you're doing more advanced work. Yeah, housebreaking, no nipping, no jumping, be quiet. That's kind of what I'm worried about at 11 weeks. What do you got next?
Got a good one. Zach JG17. Can I start my dog retrieving at 8 or 9 months old?
Yeah, absolutely. 8 or 9 months old is not that old. I often don't get dogs in until they're that age. You know, we like to get them into training at 6, 7 months old, but a 1.5 old dogs that just have known a tennis ball will take on, you know, if they like to do it, and we'll train them to be a duck dog. So it's not never too late, but 8, 9 months old is still a baby. Let it rip,
like
Tater Chip.
Prime time.
Yeah, let it rip.
Kitty getter. Do you think that hunt tests should start throwing geese since they advertise as being hunt tests?
No.
Why?
The ease of getting geese. I mean,
that's what I was thinking, is like, where are you going to keep? They're huge. Where are you going to, like, you don't farm raise them really.
Yeah. I don't know how that all works. Like, the caveat that somebody could argue is, you know, we use mallard ducks in training and at hunt tests. And so farm raised pheasants, farm raised ducks are a real thing, but I do not know of a single, or if it's even legal, farm raised Canada goose.
Well, you can't have Canadas. It would have to, that would be against, because they're
tariffs.
No, but I know that it is like a felony to have your own Canada goose and like raise them and whatever for wildlife protection, blah, blah, blah. But,
and then do you remember we saved Ryan Gosling?
Yeah. Can we do?
We might have been a felon. I don't know, but we saved its life and then released it into the wild.
That's worth a quick story. That's worth a quick story.
There was a dead mama goose and a lone gosling at a old training pond years and years ago, like statute of limitations type of thing. Like, 10 years ago, probably. And it was just swimming around like dead mom right there. And we're like, all right, I guess we're going to name him Ryan Gosling and we're going to save him. And my buddy has a, hobby poultry farm. And so we raised Ryan Gosling amongst baby chicks. And when he was big enough, we released him into the wild and he didn't look back. He swam away in the same pond we caught him in and saved him and probably shot him in September. I don't know. I'm only kidding. But yeah, old Ryan Gosling, we saved him. So we didn't keep him. But again, the point is,
I feel like it would just be hard, or just geese in general, right? Like
geese in general would be hard. Yeah. So I'm going to go no. If a dog, like, I could see something like an SRS throwing a goose doken or ATB because they only throw ATBs. That could be a thing. Have a goose series, hunt savvy goose series. That may be something I could see happen, but no, in a sanctioned AKC hunt test, I don't ever think it would be a thing. And I don't actually think it would be like a make or break to me. Like, oh, it's supposed to be real hunting scenario deal. These dogs never even seen a goose. It's like, yeah, well, whatevs. Doesn't. It's a good question. It's a fair comment. I just don't think it's a true option.
I feel like logistically it'd be kind of tough.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it too.
J. Seth Faulkner. But he's asking, my dog doesn't have an on-off switch. He's wide open all the time. How would you handle a dog like that?
More obedient. I mean, I guess it's like how old, right? Like
sure.
There's questions, right? If it's a 12-week-old puppy or 6-month-old puppy.
Yeah, that's fair. He
didn't specify age. If
so,
you're talking about a 2-year-old,
sure,
you need to work on your obedience. You need to put the dog in a crate, and when you can give it undivided attention, you make it do what you want it to do by teaching it what is expected of it. Cesar Millan, rules, boundaries, and expectations. And I think he used to say something to the effect of like, what was it? Discipline. I forget now. That'd be good to bring back up. I don't know if you can Google what does Cesar Millan say real quick, but it's something to the effect of like bingo, bango, bongo, and then love. So it's like rules, boundaries, limitations, or expectations, and then love. See if you can find that, Kev, where, I love all my dogs. I pet all my dogs. I hang out with all my dogs, but I have expectations of them in the house as well. We aren't playing ball in the house. If I played ball in the house with Quinn, she would never leave me alone and would have no off switch either. But we don't play in the house. So when we go outside, she's on. When she's inside the house, she's learned to be off because I've asked her and expected and taught her to be off. You can lay at my feet and learn to relax. Go lay on it. Teach them, place or kennel. That dog bed is your spot. When I'm cooking dinner, that is where you belong. When I'm watching Netflix at, it's 7:40 p.m. tonight, and this is the first time I've sat down all day, they're laying in their beds or in crates downstairs. So you own what you condone. Did you find Cesar Millan yet?
I did. Yeah, I did. He said he's just the best. He'd be like our white whale on getting on the podcast.
Good idea.
Cesar Millan, his philosophy centers around rules, boundaries, and limitations to create a balanced dog through structure and clear leadership, with a priority order being exercise, then discipline, rules, boundaries, and limitations, and then finally affection.
Boom. I was pretty close.
No, that was pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Exercise, then discipline, and then finally affection.
Yeah. So I think that's the key, right? Like, these dogs are bred to be athletes and to be worked. So it's not fair to have them in a crate all day while you're working 8 hours, then go do something for 15 minutes and then expect them that they're just going to be chill and lay down. If that's the dog that you were hoping to get, you should have got a bulldog. And I mean that facetiously and kind of a dink answer, but I'm being serious. Like, you bought a badass, you got a badass, now you've got to live with it. And so to me, that means we've got to give it ample amount of time for exercise and training. You need to be willing to be self-disciplined to uphold a standard in the house, and have them be accountable and teach them what you want. Teach them. I'm not saying you just crack the whip and they better lay down. We teach them. This is how we act in the house. These are our house manners. Then affection. So, yeah, it's a good question, because, I mean, Quinn would be the same way if I allowed it. She's a wild woman and loves to retrieve, and,
it's also pedigree. It's also like what you bought. Like, are you buying a high-powered dog, or are you buying...
Sure, and everybody wants that perfect on-off switch. Everybody wants the gentleman's gun dog. That's why British, homie Barton and homie Mike Stewart, like, we've had them on the podcast. I love those dudes. That's what they market, this on-off switch. Well, I've trained a bunch of British labs that didn't have an off switch. I've trained a bunch of American labs that did have an off switch. It's kind of a crapshoot sometimes, right? It's a lot more training than the actual dog, right? It's a lot more training. And if you are buying a high-powered dog because you want that fire-breathing dragon, because you want that high roller, that's what you're going to get. And now it's time to exercise, discipline, limitations, teach them, and then love, right? Like those are the things that you need to do to uphold an on-off switch. And age, maturity will come. I mean, Quinn's 6, and yes, in the house she's chill, but I've had to teach that. If I started tossing a tennis ball in my house to her, it would very quickly go back to no bananas. Yeah, it'd be as soon as she grabs it, it's back in my lap, like. So, good question, dude. You just got to ride that Bronco and train it and have self-discipline to do the right thing when you don't feel like doing it. That means get out and go training. That means four-wheeler rides or mountain biking and whatever to burn some energy, actual disciplined training, and upholding a standard. All right, what do we got next, big dog?
Christian Solace. What signs show you that your dog's ready for their first hunt?
All right. It's a good question. So I am not going to take a dog on its first hunt if I'm not 100% certain that it understands gunfire. We've talked about it a million times on this show, and we've talked about it a million times of how to do it properly, where it's 1 or 2 shooters and you leave the gun at home, and or just you and your dog, and you've got the control over the dog to be able to shoot. But I want that dog to have very good obedience and be able to sit steady and sit on a dog stand or in a ground blind where they just can hang out. The art of doing nothing. Just sit and chill. Which is easier said than done. I get it. But that's what I want. I want them to be collar conditioned. I want them to be steady. I want them really strong with gunfire. And again, I'm not taking 8 guys out hunting. I'm taking 1 or 2. I want a good recall. And I want them to have had birds. It's not fair to ask a duck dog. Did someone write in a question, or did it come on Patreon? Somebody asked a question about their dog has never seen a duck before. Is it okay to take a duck hunting? Something to that effect.
Not that I remember, but okay. That's maybe a good conversation to have.
Yeah, no, it's not a good thing. And if you do, fully expect that dog to not pick up the duck, and then don't get mad at it when it doesn't pick up the duck. That's going to be your training. You are now taking the dog. If you've done everything else I just described, it just hasn't had a duck yet. Maybe you go on a duck hunt or 2 with your buddies without the dog, kill a couple ducks, and you take them all home and train, and then take them hunting. So I want to make sure that they've had the opportunity to see dead ducks, live crippled ducks, shackled ducks, whatever the case may be, because the first time they go out and they've never seen a bird before and you knock down a goose, good luck. Or a crippled mallard that's flapping, a hen mallard that's quacking like crazy. You could, in essence, scare the dog, and now they don't want to pick up a duck. So we want to build positive experiences and success-based hunts for their first hunting season. That's when I know I've done all those, checked those boxes, then I'm ready to take them.
K. Harold J. How late is too late to force fetch a dog?
This is a good one. Shout out to our force fetch course. I've force fetched dogs that were old, when I've had to. Like, some of them have been 4, some of them have been 5. That's a mother, because they haven't had that kind of pressure, mental pressure. And it's not a lot of pressure. So I want everybody to understand that force fetch doesn't mean it's hard on a dog. I'm not saying that. I'm saying on a 5-year-old, it is a lot harder to just get them through that stuff than a 6-month-old who's just like, I guess this is what we're doing today. And they just roll with the punches. Where a 5-year-old's like, I've been doing whatever the hell I've wanted for 5 years, and now you're going to start doing this to me? And so to me, in my heart of hearts, I don't really feel like doing it to a dog of that age. I think we need to look at our goals. What are our goals? If it's the dog won't do anything, maybe you get a new dog. At 5 years old, maybe it's time to get a new puppy and do the right steps, 0 to dark dog. Do the right steps so that you have a dog for the next 13 years of its life. Now, if this person says my dog's a year and a half, yup. 2, yup. As we approach 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on up, no, just let them drop the duck at your feet, bro.
Yeah. Become a 2-dog family.
Yeah, become a 2-dog family. And, yeah. So that's kind of my thought. But I have 100% had extremely good success with a 2-year-old dog that loved to retrieve and had all the tools in the tool belt, just was not force fetched. And we go through that process and knock it out, no problem. But I just find that 4-year-old, that 5-year-old, they're set in their ways, and now you're trying to make them do it your way, and they're good enough. I just sent one home, actually. He's like 4.5, 5-year-old chocolate lab. Dude's name is John. Dog was Sluggo. Dude, Sluggo, that son of a bitch was a mother to force fetch. And I'm like, I don't have enough time.
He's setting up for failure with a dog when you name him Sluggo.
Dude, this dog was awesome, though. He turned out
sure
fantastic.
He was. I bet he was the man.
I called him up, and I'm like, hey, man, I've got a month and a half left. He's delivering birds to the dog stand, and I can take it out of his mouth, or he fumbles it right into my hand. But he's like, kind of, it's just not fair. Like, I'm not making progress in a speed and duration of time that like a 6-month-old does it. And I'm like, it's just not fair. Like, do we need it? And he's like, no, we don't need it. I haven't had it before. Don't know what I'm missing.
No, that's fair. I think that's
if Slug. Now here's the caveat: if Sluggo was eating ducks, not bringing ducks back, wouldn't pick up a duck. There are other things but he loved live ducks and would carry them all the way back. Regular ducks, bumpers, he would do it all and deliver them 98% all the way back to me or drop it in my hand. So we got him steady. We quieted him down. We did a lot more gunfire and duck calling around him. And we were able to actually progress very nicely. And his obedience, we got that dialed in a lot better in the short amount of time we had him. Sluggo did a phenomenal job. He just wasn't force fetched.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I started to say, like, what are your goals? Why, as much of a proponent of force fetch as I am, and built a whole course around it,
you don't have to.
It's not 100% necessary if the dog's doing a lot of the right things.
/ if you don't,
if you're not
an owner, like, you're not.
If you're not going to compete, I don't know if you need it. If you're okay with it dropping at your feet, I'm okay with it too. Now, I don't want that. I don't want a dog that drops a crippled duck at the riverbank and it shoots back into the water and we're dinking around. I don't want that. And if I'm starting out with 0 to duck dog, I'm going to do the process and follow it and have a badass. If I'm at 4, if this dude's emailing us in saying it's 4 years old, is it too late? I'm just going to be like, no, it's not too late, but what are our goals?
Probably going to have a harder time doing it. It's probably not really going to be that fair to the dog.
If he says it eats the ducks, okay, fight the good fight and get them done.
Yeah.
If he won't pick up a duck, probably fight the good fight or get a new one. Like, these are things that it's like, to answer the question is just me answering the question. But if there were things that force fetch would really help, maybe I would still say, yeah, let's give it a whirl. And if we hit a roadblock, maybe we fight the good fight for a little while and then chalk it up. Like, force fetch shouldn't be hard or intimidating for human and dog. It's not. It's actually kind of easy, but I don't want to do it to a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old dog. That's me. You got under 2 years old, let her rip tater chip. They're still really moldable at that stage. What do you think? You think I did good about that?
I feel good. It's a fair, it's a fair answer because I think you
could force fetch a 10-year-old dog. It just doesn't mean
it's more of a conversation, right?
Yeah,
it's more of a conversation to have with this person to be like, what are your actual goals? Are you just going out duck hunting, trying to have a good time with your dog? Yeah. Is it 100% necessary? And you have a 7-year-old? No, then maybe just enjoy hunting with your dog, man. Yeah. And so drop the duck. Okay. All right, whatever, man. You know what? You'll tell stories about it another time and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Caleb Lemoyne, 14. Best time and amount to feed your dog for optimal performance when hunting the next morning.
at night.
Well,
yep. So we've had
right, but
yep. I'm about to keep going. I'm not done. Kevin, before the podcast, Kevin said some of these are quickies. You don't have to go elaborate. Well, now I'm about to elaborate on that as.
Well, you could. A one-word answer is not what I meant.
I know. I'm
nighttime.
Nighttime. So here at nighttime, we feed. I feed at night, and I float their food. So floating the food helps with hydration as well as absorption of the nutrients. Spoken by veterinarians that have been on this podcast, and Purina, shout out Purina, but the Purina vets, Ray Vogt, who works for Purina, everybody floats their food. So that's how you're going to get the most nutrients. Now, people who feed twice a day, okay, fine. I don't like to feed before the hunt. I think, let's think about this. How do I want to say it? So when you, as an athlete, or a dog as an athlete, has to expend energy, and part of the energy is going into the digestion process for the body, then the body can't respond at an optimum level. I'm trying to say it as eloquently as possible. So if that dog has a cup and a half of food in its belly at 4 a.m. and you're killing ducks at 5:30, 6 a.m, it's not digested. How many times have you seen a dog 3 hours later drink a bunch of water and puke up whole food? Often. Well, maybe not often, but it happens, right? So my point is that body is taking and using energy to digest. Therefore, it's not able to give 110% on the output of its performance. The other aspect is you have a susceptibility to bloat where the stomach will flip and gas and dog will die. So I don't like to exercise and hunt and use my dogs when they have a full belly of food. Now, does that mean you can't give them a treat or give them a handful of kibble? No, that's fine. It's a snacky snack. It's a Scooby snack. Whatevs. I think you're doing it for yourself more than the dog. Dog doesn't give a crap. He's going hunting. But that's why we feed at night. We don't feed in the morning for training either. Unless the dog's super, super skinny and I'm trying to put weight on the dog, then I'll give a cup in the morning, and then they don't actually train until a little bit later in the morning. I want that stomach to settle a bit. But other than that, I mean, I can count on one hand less than one dog this summer I had to do that with. And after a couple weeks of that, he bumped back up on weight and was ready to rock. So
and how many dogs have you had coming in and out of the kennel this summer?
Like 36 dogs this summer. I mean, it was nuts.
I think it's also important to note that, like, as a person, you're used to thinking, like, I need energy. I better eat so that I feel good in an hour.
Right.
You don't metabolize things like a dog does. A dog is 10, 12 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah. So, literally, Purina has spent millions of dollars on scientists in their research facilities to get the maximum out of those dogs and learn what metabolizes and the dogs use and how to get the best out of them. And that's their recommendation. So I'm just a dog trainer. That's my advice. There was another couple questions. I don't know if you can find them quickly, Kevin, that kind of corresponded with this. It's actually one of my clients, and he asked about giving treats during hunts and stuff like that. If you can find it.
Mike Elbaz, opinion on treats during the hunt as positive reinforcement / reward after a retrieve.
I love this question because I know him. You don't need to give that dog treats, Michael.
That specific dog. We can get real specific with it.
Yeah.
Is this Sluggo? Does Mike have a dog named Sluggo? Okay.
No, it's Oakley.
Oakley, a good dog name.
I
never got to meet Sluggo though. That's a disappointment.
Yeah. So the dog doesn't need a treat. You scratch it behind the ears. The duck is the reward. And if I'm going to be blunt with him because this is it. The treat is for you. You feel good about giving that dog the treat. The dog is happy to get the treat because it's a dog. It also likes to lick its crotch. Does that mean we do that too? No. The duck and your affection, the duck that you shoot it and your affection is more valuable to the dog than a piece of kibble. And so I don't mind. Like Dad likes to bring biscuits for Boss in the blind. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because Dad loves Bossy and Mike loves Oakley. I don't give a crap. Give her a treat. But don't think it's going to make her do better at retrieving because she's getting a treat on the way back.
It's not positive. It's not being perceived as positive reinforcement.
No, it's just happy to get a treat.
Yeah.
It's also happy to go get a duck.
Right.
Right. And it's happier to go get a duck. And it's happy to get scratched behind the ears and say, you're the best dog in the world. I love you. Thank you. That was awesome. What a retrieve. Hooting and hollering. I'm so proud of you. That's going to mean more to the dog than giving a handful of kibble or a biscuit or a piece of venison, because I know that's what he's giving her. You know, if you feel me, dog?
I also get excited about a little snacky snack.
Yeah, little Scooby snacks. So my point is, you're doing it for yourself. If you want to take a couple pieces of treats for the dog on the hunt to feel good about it, I don't care. But don't do it because you think you're doing it dog training wise. You're doing it for yourself. Dog doesn't need it. That duck and that retrieve and your high fives and hooting and hollering and loving on it is its
that's a great point. The retrieve is a reward.
Yeah. Yep.
Chase Edwards, steps to a crispy heel sit after a retrieve.
I mean, in the force fetch course, I do teach like how to do it. I also have some videos on YouTube that were like quickies that are little baby healing drills.
Right. That's kind of what my brain went to, was like,
so I'll give you a quick
step.
Yep. So, picture this. You've got the dog sitting at your side. You're doing a heel away from, like, you and the dog are walking away from you. Or no, walking together, but a straight line. You're not figure eights, nothing. You are going to abruptly stop and retreat. So you're going to start backing up. And if the dog's on your left-hand side, you are going to have the leash and you're going to keep that dog on the outside with his butt coming back around you. And he's going to heel back with you. You don't want him spinning all the way around. You don't want him to try and go in front of you and around you. You want to keep him on that left side. And when they start performing nicely, then you start moving forward again. So that's going to get them to stay with you going this way, and it's also going to snap them back into a nice heel. The next one, so you do that a little bit, then you sit them in front of you, facing you, and you walk directly into the dog. Heel, boom. And that's what it does. It has to get out of the way and into heel, and so it starts snapping into it. It doesn't want to get bumped into, and so you're just going to walk straight into the dog, say heel, and he's going to jump out of the way and into a heel, and you keep walking. And then you sit him. He's going to face you, and you're going to walk straight into him, and whoop. Okay? So that's another one.
What I was thinking is like the little two-step you always do with the dog.
Yeah, thank you. That was the third one. Appreciate that. So I call it a dance step. So as I'm going to do it on lead, so we've got the first one where I'm walking forward and then backing up and then walking forward again, and it cinches them into that snappy heel. The second one is where I walk directly into the dog and they snap into it, and I keep walking. The third one is I front sit them on lead, and then I hear, heel, and sit. And I'm going to move my microphone away, and you're going to watch me. If you're just listening in, you go to the YouTube channel. Now you can watch him on YouTube's, baby. So he's sitting in front of me. Here, heel, and sit. And so anyone who's tuning in that couldn't really hear that.
A J motion.
It's like a J motion. And my left leg drop steps back. And as that butt is halfway around, that left leg is coming back, squaring up. So I step back, here, heel, and as they're swinging around, that leg comes back up, and then I sit. And that's going to help position them into a snappier one. Now, where I also perfect this on the retrieve, right? So that's all drills. No bumpers are involved. So we're teaching it in like in an obedience session. I'm working on here, heel, and sits. I'm working on heel, and I'm working on sitting, and I'm working on being at my side. That's in obedience. I'm going to reinforce that and teach that during force fetch. Walking fetch. So they are on lead. I say fetch. I apply collar stimulation. They grab the bumper. Pressure's turned off. And I've got my lead to do that little J and that left leg back. And then I come up and here he'll sit. And so through repetition after repetition after repetition after repetition and a week or more of walking fetch, that is how they deliver bumpers and ducks to me. In force fetch, I don't force on ducks. So just to caveat that. But this walking fetch and being on lead, because if they don't do it right, I've got a tool to help them do it right.
A guideline to don't not do it.
You don't not do it. And if you're just off to the side a little bit, I can use the leash and kind of move and cinch and get them to get that muscle memory of doing it properly. So you can teach it during your obedience, collar conditioning, and all that, when they're young. And then once they're on walking fetch, that's where I'm going to kind of adhere that. And then pretty much done. Muscle memory. They just get it.
Real quick, another one from Caleb Lemoyne. This will be our last one. What comes after T-pattern in the sequential process of first we do this and then we do that?
So there's a ton we do, right? Let's say they knock out T-pattern. They're crushing it. They're leaving my side, stopping on a whistle, changing all different directions. Left back, left over, right over. Then I'm going to do discipline casting on T-pattern. Discipline casting means they pick up the bumper at the back pile. They're coming back to me with the bumper. I can blow the whistle. They still have a good whistle set. And then I can cast left over, angle back right, stop them, left straight back, all that with the bumper in their mouth. They can do discipline casting. So that's like when T-pattern is done is when a dog can discipline cast on the T-pattern pretty dang smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they've got to just be comfortable stopping on a whistle with the bumper in their mouth and changing direction and going where I'm kind of aiming them. From there, I like to do the giant T, which we have a video on the YouTubes. The giant T is a big open field, not a lot of factors, if any, if you can, with 3 white poles. One's left-hand one is 100 yards, middle one is probably 125, 150, right-hand one is 100. And you're going to start close to them and send them straight back up, send them, back up, send them, go to the next one. Start close, back up, send them, blah, blah, blah. Get them in X amount of sessions to where you can be at home plate and send to third base, come back, first base, come back, second base, come back, and they can line all of those white poles. Then you can stop on the way, let's send them to third base, stop them, angle back right to second base, and they're probably going to turn and spin and go back to the one you sent them for. Tweet, no, here, tweet, cast again. And all of a sudden they go, bing, light bulb, hey, he's casting me to the other one. And they go to it. I also like the Y handling drill. So you got a shorter back pile and then 2 angle back piles. We have a video on that too on the tubes. Wagon wheel, pattern blinds, like just straight up white poles in the same location, and you're building confidence, holding the line. Short blinds are harder than long blinds. Short blinds, if they're offline a little bit, it's kind of a lot of it. So you end up hacking it up more and stopping them a bunch more to get them there. Where if you do a 150 plus yard blind, you can weave them through the field and they can carry casts and feel good about themselves.
There's a lot that comes after T-pattern.
Yeah, there's a lot. What else? I want a dog, before I go on to swim by, I want a dog running decent land blinds with white poles and feeling good about stopping, feeling good about leaving, feeling good about changing direction in the general direction that I'm pointing to them at. And another just quickie caveat is if I'm, again, this is for the YouTubers, if I send them on a straight line and they veer off course, I don't stop them and give them a direct over and then stop them on the line to the blind and a straight back. I don't do that, right? Like you're thinking about it literally like T pattern where it's, I need a right over and a left back to get them back online. No, it'd be an angle right back and let them cross that line and carry it and then stop them and cross that line, like weave it like a slithering snake through the field until they get there, so that they can build momentum. Go, stop, change direction, feel pretty good about yourself. Don't want them. There's a fine line between feeling too good about yourself and them not paying attention to you and them not feeling confident at all and aren't comfortable doing it. So you want to dance that line of like, they're comfortable, but they're under control. And that's it. Have fun. Let them rip.
Very good.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this episode. Just a quick reminder, new website and the Zero to Duck Dog course is coming out sometime November. Stay tuned. We built it for you to help you and your duck dog become the team in the duck blind for many years to come. So thank you all for tuning into another one. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.